good afternoon, good evening. We just came back from dinner tonight, so we're all fat and sassy, as they say. Uh, my wife gives me an ugly look at that.
I didn't give you an ugly look. I'm just, I've been getting emails, texts all day saying.
Wait a second, I gotta give you a little light. So I won't look so bright. Is that light turned on over there?
Yes, all lights.
All lights on you. Okay, good. I hope everybody had a great evening. We found out some news yesterday evening about 5 o'clock that wasn't the greatest in the world. That one of the people that had been working in the store with us has COVID. So, but we show no symptoms of having COVID, and so far so good.
Listen, if we hadn't gotten it by now,
your camera thing sits in the back.
We are not going to.
Oh, wait. Maggie, I know it's time for you to come over here and rock the table a little bit. But I mean, we're always concerned, but we take powder vitamin C, about 5,000 to 10,000 milligrams, and that we take vitamin D and vitamin zinc. And so that's just one more kind of fighting this thing off to keep from getting it. But so you keep us in your prayers that we do not have COVID, hopefully anyway. What?
You.
Well, I mean, we working with somebody right there with them that's got COVID, and they got it in the worst kind of way. I hope I don't get it the way they do, vomiting, throwing up, nausea.
That is not one of the symptoms.
Yes, it is. I looked it up.
We think that she's going to have a baby.
Well, it may be, but the doctor says she had COVID. So
melatonin will help you
with COVID.
With COVID.
Okay. Well, this is one of the many things about this disease that we disagree on.
What do you think about the video that shows no chalk marks the day after they went missing? Now there are chalk marks. Remember they said the kids.
Yeah, I don't get. I think first off, like I said, is I don't believe those kids are there. Never were at the house. That whatever happened to them over there in Bakersfield. That's my opinion. But let's cover a couple of more people before we talk about some body language in these adopted parents. I just went over and examined the film again, and one thing is right here. This is Mara Murray. She disappeared on the evening of February the 9th, 2004, after a car crash on Route 112 in Woodville, New Hampshire, a village of New Haverhill, whereabouts remain unknown. She was a nursing student completing her junior year at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst at the time of disappearance.
Maybe you need to let me read.
Well, you don't worry about my language. I'm a Southerner. I'm proud of it.
It's not that, but you're skipping words.
Well, that don't matter. They know what I'm talking about. They can read it. But that's 2004. So she just has an accident and maybe hit her head, maybe got disoriented, maybe had amnesia. But regardless, she is missing and never seen again. So we do want to bring that up. This girl here, Mississippi woman disappears after New Year's boat outing. Officials continue to search 10 days later. This is the second.
How old is she?
Hold on a second here. The second page of it. Stax and her boyfriend, Jerry Wayne Baggett, reportedly launched a boat on the, I'm not going to say the word because you'll get Tallahatchie River earlier this morning. And I think this was this past New Year's, the way I understand it. And anyway, it's kind of confusing. I read 2 or 3 different posts, but at some point in the trip, Stax reportedly exited the boat around 8 p.m., decided to walk back, which was the last time she was seen. I get that. I kind of think that's kind of weird that she would get out of the boat unless they've had some type of argument If they had an argument, a lot of things could have happened. Officials said that Baggett continued downstream at least a couple of miles before exiting the boat on the opposite side of the river. He reported Jessica missing when he could not locate her. Well, if he was on the opposite side of the river, that would make
she could not be located.
Yeah, well, he's on the opposite side of the river. That would explain a lot. You know, they've had rescue efforts, but they have recovered nothing. And a clothing description of Jessica was wearing at the time of her disappearance is unknown. Her ears and tongue and nose are pierced. She has multiple tattoos, including a puzzle piece with the name Kobe above it and Braden on her right wrist. And it says, if you got any information, you can notify the Union County Sheriff's Office. Now, I had an email from somebody accusing that she was killed and buried, but I'm not going to post that what I was sent, because it is purely hearsay, and I don't have enough information to know if it's true or not, and I don't want to get something. Supposedly it was sent to the police, but they the person that sent me this and the person that wrote the notice said that basically that the police didn't care about it. So I'm not going to get all into that. There's just everybody needs to look out for her. This one here also is a 1997. This is an old one. Christine Deborah. How do you pronounce that, Dana? If you say I can't read. Madar, I don't know how to pronounce it. Madoffer, I don't know. Is an American woman who in the early summer of 1997 disappeared under mysterious circumstances after leaving her work at the Crocker Galleria Mall in San Francisco, California. The soon-to-be college sophomore at North Carolina State University was spending the summer in the Bay Area. And she has not been seen since. So that's been, 24 years? 24 years ago? Very sad situation at the very least. I didn't want to put this out here. You say we do want to cover everything, but look at this. Cairo. Now, this is a war-torn countries up in that area, you know. Leading rights group on Thursday urged Libya's UN-backed government to investigate the fate of hundreds of people missing from the key town near the capital, Tripoli. Dozens of mass graves have been found there after the withdrawal of much-feared militia last summer. Is that not militia? That's
militia.
Is it militia?
I think that's
Militara? I don't know.
You can tell we're tired.
I'm tired.
We've been doing inventory.
In the statement, Human Rights Watch quoted Libyan officials saying that at least 338 residents of the town of Tarhuna was reported missing. That's a lot of people in one town. The majority of them disappeared during a 14-month-long military campaign led by forces loyal to a rival government based in eastern Libya to capture the capital, according to the report. That a lot of them, I would think, that got killed in the fight. They got drafted in the army and killed, but you just never know.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
That it amazes me in a horrifying way, the way that people can treat other people, other children, other babies, and other animals.
Yeah, I agree.
I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about some of these children that are being kidnapped, and it's just sad. And then you read about mass graves, and it's just
when they've discovered mass graves across the Mexico border too, like
well, they
hundreds
found
of
that
mass
lion
graves.
pit.
You know?
Remember?
Yeah.
They found a lion pit 20 miles from our border. that has bones in it. It's got lions in it, and that they believe the cartel's throwing people in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful. I don't understand. Honestly, y'all, I don't know how I don't know how all of you believe, but I'm just going to tell you, with my belief, I am shocked that Jesus hadn't already split the eastern sky wide open and just come back and taken care of business.
Yes. This is Sierra. Is that Sierra the first word there? Sierra, or is that the middle word?
Sierra Sarah
Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
She disappeared in 2002, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Endangered missing. She's a black female, 12 of 82. She's 5 foot, 5'2", 140, 160 pounds, waist length black. It said waist length black guest coat with a brand logo in the left front pocket, a dark blue, black shirt, blue sweatpants. This is an African American female, brown eyes, black hair. She goes by the nickname Sweetie. She was basically in the neighborhoods of Atlantic City, New Jersey, November the 21st of 2002. Her sister drove to visit her father of one of the daughters. Her sister drove her to visit the father of one of her daughters. Thomas said she'd call when she wanted to be picked up. Her sister waited in the car for an hour and then went to a nearby store. And Thomas never called her and was never been heard from again. She had $33 in cash with her at the time of disappearance. Her boyfriend was the last person to see her. She attended high school, previously held jobs at some hotels. Probably got into some type of altercation. Said if you have any information on her, of course, contact the Atlantic City Police Department. I'm not seeing... this one, the one I just told you about a few minutes ago, I did have some other information about her. Let's see. In 1999, she, under Christian law, and this was actually a law was started by her name, by President Bill Clinton, to provide assistance to police departments and families of missing persons over the age of 17. The law authorizes an annual sequestering of $1 million for the support of the missing persons organizations, including the National Center of Missing Adults, and federal funding for Kristen's Law ran out in 2005 after the law's expiration. I guess that was to get other police departments to cooperate with each other. That's what I found. I can speak from experience on this. We had a bunch of undercover cars run through our town one time. They were blue lights, siren, plane cars running through town, and near the caused 2 or 3 accidents. And a police car, actually one of our cars, pulled up beside him and said, "Hey, what's going on?" The guy said, flashed the badge that they were DEA. And so me being over narcotics, the chief called me and said, "What in the world's going on? You got cars running through town, chasing after somebody, blue lights flashing. Nobody's told me anything. Find out what's going on." So I called over to the headquarters, talked to the special agent in charge, and basically they denied telling us about what was going on. Told us it was basically a federal investigation and us to mind our own business, basically. And so our chief called someone very high up. That's all I want to say, in the organization. And a few minutes later, that person called me back and told me what was going on. So, but I want to say this, if they would have told us ahead of time, we could have stopped the car because the car ran right through our town, but we had no idea why they were looking for it. This girl here, I wanted to get to feature one more here. This is Hope Meek. Some pictures of her. They were going on a camping trip, and Hope was in the process of separating at the time from her, I guess her boyfriend or ex-husband or whatever he is, Jerry. We call him Jerry. He claimed to have given her $500 before he left. I don't understand what that has to do with anything, but at midnight, Jerry decided to end the camping trip prematurely, and it was getting too cold, and return home with the children. Hope wasn't there, and apparently he took the children camping, is what it amounts to. And
there's been quite a few of those.
Yeah, he took the children supposedly camping in very, very cold weather and gave her $500 basically before he left. They were kind of in the process of separation at the time. And then when they prematurely ended the camping trip early, they got back home and she wasn't there, nor was the $500, but she had left her glasses, a 1985 Chevrolet pickup truck, and a cell phone, which is kind of strange. Jerry wouldn't report Hope missing for 5 days. Jerry filed for divorce 15 days later and was awarded full custody of the children. And I believe he probably filed under abandonment, that she abandoned them. But it sounded like that what I'm saying? It sounded like at the time that they suspected something. In 2012, he was charged with her murder, and he was convicted, sentenced to life in prison in November of 2013. Authorities believe that the two got into an argument before then, but regardless, she has not been seen since. So he probably disposed of her body, unfortunately. There's so many people that have get into it with their spouse or whatever during the argument, and then unfortunately they end up getting murdered. And that's what I think probably happened, in my opinion, with the Morphew case. What are you saying about? We're going to talk about body language. Now, I'm not an expert on body language, although I have been to many, many classes, police classes.
Hey, you seem to know my body language. You know when I'm mad.
Yeah, well, it's obvious. But I've been on a lot of classes. It doesn't make me an expert, but I have been to a lot of classes, police classes and federal law enforcement classes, how to read people, how to read body language. Because when you especially work in narcotics, if you're in a house on a search warrant, you usually take the people on a search warrant, you search the couch area, make sure there's not any guns or weapons, and you secure them and have them sit on the couch. And you can pretty much tell. We separate them, but don't let them sit together. This one sits on one side and one sits the other, or sit in another chair. You pretty much tell where the drugs are just by their mannerisms, how nervous they get, how they're fidgeting, what they do. And this can be on the side of the road too. If you're talking to somebody on the side of the road and you ask them, you got any weapons or drugs in your car, you can usually tell right away if they do or not. One of the key to tell really is like, no, go ahead, you can search it. I've searched a lot of cars and found drugs of people saying just that. No, go ahead, search it. A guy that's not carrying drugs, he's going to say, well, why do you need to search my car? I don't have anything in it. And, I'm kind of in a hurry, or, he's not going to be overly cooperative, at least not in my situation. Plus, they've got what they call, and they teach you in the academy, they got they teach you a little thing. It's called a felony stretch. And it's the truth. I'm telling a little secret, but it is true. When you start to get close to drugs in the car, then people will stretch. I don't know why they will. They call it the felony stretch. And also, if they're about to run, you'll see them. They'll get kind of fidgety with their feet, or they'll kind of turn. They'll kind of look out to the side where around them. You know they're fixing to run. You can tell they got rabbit in them, and they're fixing to run. So you have to watch that. But you learn all this stuff by watching people. And I watch people a lot, especially like in an airport. If you go to a big airport, you can tell the person that's got something in their luggage just by watching people, the way they act, the nervousness of them. And I'm going to discuss this. You watch, this is a picture of Chris Watts. You notice him. He's got his hands. His hands are underneath he's got his one hand over the other, but the other one is underneath that. He's kind of like holding a secret in. He's nervous. He's guilty. He's holding that. It's just a way, and that's one thing for the FBI. I noticed his body language when they noticed he did this. A lot of things he said in his talking, but his initial body language, he's holding himself, he's protecting himself right there. It's a little bit different from folding your arms and just sitting there. That's like a defiant stance, I'm better than you are. I'm not listening to anything you say. You notice a kid. When you get a kid, you catch him doing something bad, and you're talking to him about that. Johnny, did you go over there and do that? He'll go like this every time. He's mad. He's defiant. The people that hold their head down, they're feeling guilty. Not all the time, but that is a sure sign of guilt. I told this story once before, but had a friend that owned a bunch of McDonald's down there where I worked, and she called me and said I had one of my safe was gone through today. They took $500 and some change, and they tell me the investigators can't work on it the next week. I think I know who the guy did it. Can you question him? I said, sure, I'll do it. Even though I was in narcotics, I knew that, I could quit. I've interviewed lots of people, so, hundreds probably. And I said, sure. So the guy came in. I read him his rights, gave him a right sheet. He signed it, no problem at all. Questioned him. Oh, no, I don't know anything about this. I was on the other side of the place. Don't know anything. Don't know who did it. No, don't know who did it. I said, be back in a few minutes. I left him interviewing 15 minutes by himself. Then I came in, pushed in a TV on rollers, and that's back when we used the cassette tapes, the VCR cassette tapes. So I brought in one cassette player. I laid a cassette tape down right in front of him on the table. And I said, called him by his first name. I don't remember now, but I said, what are you going to say when I show you getting that money out of that safe on this tape? And he dropped his head. And I said, where's the money? And he said, it's in my car. So I knew from the one thing, if he would have been not guilty, he would have said, show it. Let's see it. You're not going to see me on that tape. No, didn't do it. So, the fortunate thing for police is they can lie to you about the evidence they have. That's why they always play the good cop, bad cop routine. They can't ever coerce you and say, if all you got to do is say you did it and you get to go home tonight. They can't say that. That is coercion. Or, I'm not going to charge you or nothing like that. That's coercion. But they can just say, like we did, we have this tape of you. And I really didn't say that. I just said, what are you going to do when the tape shows you? So, you can see him right here. He's closing himself off. He's trying to protect himself. He is being not really defensive, but he is closing himself off. Does not want to tell the truth. I look at the parent, the adopted parent. What's he doing? He's closing himself off. His hands, he's even more so. His hands are up underneath his armpits. If he was cold, he would have them on top of his arms. where he could rub his arms, keep himself warm. He's closed his arms up with his hands underneath there. It's the ultimate thing of saying, I'm not going to tell you what I know. I am being very defensive and very protective. Now, if you could see his face from underneath the mask, I'm guarantee you it would tell telltale signs. My dog, Gracie, I don't know what her problem is.
Want me to tell you what her problem
What?
is? You need to go outside.
That's it. Can you go take her real quick?
Just up.
You notice the female. The female's not looking at the audience, not looking at the people. She's looking down at the ground. He's talking. She's looking down at the ground. To me, that is body language of we have something to hide. The girl, she's holding her hand on her chest right here too. She's holding her hand right there on her chest. She's trying to protect anything that, anything that she's got, she's protecting from her saying it. This is a little bit better picture here. She's looking straight down to the ground. He's talking. She's saying, don't ask me. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say what happened. She's hiding. To me, it's massive body language on their part. He over there has got his hands again in a protective mode.
Okay. I agree with what Wolfman said, that when his hands get cold, he does that. I mean, it may be cold out there.
Well, it could be cold, but normally you put your hands up there on your hands on top of just like this. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me go off of here. I don't know what I did here. If you're cold, you're going to go up like this where you can rub it, get some heat in there. Or you're going to put your hands like this, over your thing, or do it like this as a cold. If you got your hands like this, it's not all the time. It's not 100% of the time. But that is a stance. You saw Chris Watts in a similar stance. He had one arm underneath there, and he's in a fairly warm environment. But he's got his hands the whole time like that. That is a way for him to, one, he's saying, I'm going to be in control. I'm controlling my own actions and what I say, because he's holding his hands too. A lot of people will speak with their hands. I do that a lot. But he is holding what he has to say inside. Now, that's not all the time. If you were sitting there talking to reporters about someone missing child, your missing child, and you did that, I might think that you had something to hide. It's not all the time, but it does. He's also very calm and collective. If you watch the interview, he's very calm. He speaks in monotones. He doesn't, it's matter of fact. This is how it is. All this. She lets him do the talking. She does speak a few times. But she's looking down. It's an I'm sorry type pose. I'm sorry. I don't want to. She was a lot more than I believe that he was in the body language. She was like this the whole time, just about. I mean, every once in a while she'd look up. She'd look at him, and then she'd go back like this, I just didn't see a lot of emotion in their voice, emotion in anything. Duty Ron had a body language too. He discussed about the same thing that we're similar to what we're talking about. And one thing he brought up is something that I had brought up before is when this neighbor had this video camera. I see it. Okay. When the neighbor had a video camera, this guy the adopted father never goes out on both sides of that house and looks in those big open fields. That would be the very first place I would look before I got in my van and drove around the block. I would be out there looking in these fields, checking and see if these boys were sitting down in the middle of the fields or hiding in the middle of the fields. I didn't see anything. You have a question?
No, somebody else did.
What?
Julie said, when you're nervous, your blood pressure's up and warmer. This is closed posture, which equals lies. Is that correct?
Yes. That is, he's closed off. He's trying not to say anything that's going to, he's holding his hands, one thing, and I understand keep him warm. I don't think I've ever stood like that trying to keep myself warm.
Okay.
I don't know. I may try it and see if it works, but
have you seen the interview of the neighbor who used to live under the parents of the missing boy?
No, I have not. What is his name?
I don't know.
I had not seen that yet. I went back today and tried to look and see if there were any updates, but I have not seen that yet. I can't see the I'll see if I can see some of the things, but just a number of things that they did and said, to me. And I can't play those interviews. I know a lot of people do, but I get dinged on these copyright violations, and I don't need a couple more of them to really start to hurt me. But I'll try to pick that up, AV Watchman's thing, and watch that.
Wolfman says 99% of the time he stands like that. It's the warmest part of his body.
Well, I've never done that before, Wolfman. I might try it tonight to see if that makes a difference outside. Go outside and try that. But if you're sitting there, I'm wondering how would you stand like that if you were talking about a situation where you had somebody missing in your family? Would that be how you stand the whole time? I found it interesting that, because that is a closed off position, you're trying to close off anybody getting to you.
He said you'll thank you.
Okay, well, I may do it. I don't think, here's the thing, though. These kids, even if they did run out there, it was a cool night. It's not like that. And if they did run out there, and the first place I would be looking at if they ran out the gate was in the field that the gate opens up to. He doesn't check it. The cameras show it. He doesn't look in that field. And that would be the number one place I would look,
Melinda said in most kidnappings, the person would only take one child.
Right, it'd be too much unless there's two people. But the one thing, too, normally in a kidnapping of a child or anybody, if you don't find them in the first 24 hours, it's not a very good outcome. But,
the dogs didn't hit in the yard.
The dogs didn't hit in the yard, and they didn't hit anywhere out there. And I'm not sure if being on the concrete, and if there was chalk on the concrete the day after that, had it rained, did they have dew, that I don't know.
Katie said the mom told reporters she helped look, but she stayed in the house.
I don't know that or what the mother is obviously, to me, it's a guilt pose when you're just you're doing this thing and you're looking deep at the ground. And I'm wondering who told him to, the little dog never followed him out of the gate. You're right.
Hey, I think that we can agree. Most of us, there's 121 people on here. I would be shocked if 120 people didn't believe those boys never made it to the new house.
I don't believe they ever did.
I don't either.
The neighbors said they never saw the boys at that house. Never saw them get into the van. Never saw them. Yeah, he only searched 6 minutes on the video. And I realized, I think the rest of the house were older kids in there, old enough to where they could have stayed in the house, and let's search everywhere out there in the yard. The 2 yards next to the house were huge.
Wolfman says, do you think the parents wanted a fresh start?
I don't think they wanted a fresh start. They got 4 other kids, I don't know what their reasoning was. The only thing, and it's been kind of puzzling to me on this, if it was one child, you could say, well, they had an accident, accidentally died. Maybe somebody lost their temper, hit the child, they died, and they buried the child. But two siblings together, I don't know. It's a lot of different avenues. I've heard rumors that somebody thought the kids might have been sold. To me, that's kind of a little far-fetched, because not that that doesn't happen, but that it's a lot easier to be caught doing something like that. And if you get caught doing something like that, you're talking about being in prison forever. I think, whatever happened, in my opinion, happened at the other house. Yeah, Jessica, I want to say I caught that too. He said that that the kids used to like to wrestle, and I thought that was kind of weird. He said it in an interview. They were rambunctious, and they used to like to wrestle, and they were pretty tough or something like that. He made the point, and I kind of got that as maybe maybe they were injured together, and I just caught that go back and watch that whole interview, and you'll see he says that they used to like to be rambunctious, and they used to like to wrestle. And I kind of thought that was kind of weird too, that he would put that out there. He was almost like making an excuse for an injury or something. I just thought that was kind of weird. Anybody else notice anything about the interview other than the fact that I don't think Nat, is it Nate? I guess Nat man. I don't think the person that did this is going to get away with it. They must have they have something, enough of suspicion for them to take the rest of the kids out of the house and put them in protective custody. I saw the video that he's only gone a few minutes.
Children are missing that nobody knows about. You remember the one that was in Orange Beach that they found a child buried in the backyard, and they said that the mother said that the baby had been born stillborn, so she just buried the baby in the backyard. Who knows? Yeah,
and a lot of them, you've seen movies the same way, they did dig up the backyard, but if you look at that video that A.V. Watchman had an interview where they showed that video, and he's throwing wood or doing something in the backyard, it looks like, to me, he's digging. I saw that right away. It looked like he was digging. And I'm wondering if he just did that because he knew the police were going to check the backyard. He knew that. So why not go out there and dig the top of the soil up? And then when they don't find anything, then, they may think, well, then he's really not guilty. But they don't seem upset. If my kids are missing, I'm telling you what. Well, it just goes back to the same thing I said about Barry Morphew. If my wife was missing, you would see me on the news every single night, and I would be on YouTube every night with somebody trying to get. He'd be saying, "Please let my wife go. I haven't eaten in a week. You're funny." But there's no urgency. There's no tears. There's no, and then the mother or grandmother to this, they attack them right there on TV. and they don't get upset about it.
Okay,
I don't
y'all,
know
can I
why.
just say something real quick? I know this is serious talk, but every once in a while, I just have to get Tommy to, to calm down just a little bit and remember that there are still funny things to laugh at and good things to think of, that we don't always have to be. So if I make a joke in the middle of something like this, I'm sorry if it offends anybody. I'm just trying to make.
Yeah, and I know retired Sergeant Melinda will understand this probably, and if there's any other police officers retired or military, you'll understand this. If you carry so much baggage home with you at night or from tours or anything, your life's going to have some laughter in it, or you're going to end up something bad's happening in your life to you. I mean, you got to. And we do laugh a lot around this house. And we do poke fun at each other around this house. We do it every day. And so,
Some days worse than
some days are worse than others. But it's just,
Rowan
it's
has a
just
question for you.
how it is. What's that? I didn't see it.
It's right under Melinda's.
Can you tell us your winter camping story? I'll tell my winter camping stories in a few minutes. Right before we get off here, I will tell you a winter camping story years ago that I got myself into that I didn't really need to be in there, but it was like 18 degrees weather.
Okay, we'll
wait till the end about that. Said, in my opinion, adopted parents were collecting state aid and neglecting and abusing them and hiding children from seeing them. But the thing is, why just those two kids? I don't know. Why just those two kids? They had 6 total. And I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if the state of California pays adopted parents or how do they scale those adopted parents. But, the adopted parents in Alabama, as we talked about, we never received a single penny from the state or federal government for adopting our children. Not tax write-off, not anything. So I don't know what the state of California does to their adopted parents. I would like to know if somebody could find that out for me. But, like I said, in most states, you do not pay unless they have Social Security or SC. What is that? It's not SCI. It's what is it? Where it's part of Social Security when you get the benefits of SSI, maybe.
I don't know.
But it's a part of Social Security that does that. It pays for being lower income and also will pay you kids. I don't know if they had that or not. I don't know. She's not going to sneak in that story.
SSD.
I will mute her.
Oh. See, y'all, he won't let me tell you the mole joke. He said he'll mute me.
I will. See, all I have to do is this. Try to talk, Dana. See, I got you muted. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But, I'm wondering if hope what they did was they took the kids out and they separately interviewed them. Right, Melinda? I hope they did that. And what they would do is they would have a child psychologist there in the room. They may have this federal forensic type specialist in there that interviews children, and they would talk about everything in the world around the family and about their school, and get them relaxed in there. And then they will go ahead and and ask them things like, do you like your brother so-and-so? Do you like your other brother so-and-so? Where do they sleep in the house? Do you sleep next to them? Where do they go to school with you? Do you like playing games in the house with them? And if they say, they will tell a tale about them, or, they can find out. But these interviews might last one time, or they may last several times. Go ahead.
How old were the other children? Do you remember?
I know that they had the two kids is missing had siblings, but I don't know the ages of them. Maybe someone on here that can tell. Yeah, it is different with special needs children, adoptions, hard to place children, post foster arrangements. Yeah, reasons directed towards these two were most difficult to care for. And these two kids came out of a home. Okay,
that's two of them.
Yeah, these two kids came out of off a mother that was, I think, a drug addict.
All under 10.
All under 10. But still, these kids could tell, yeah, right, Melinda, they are. This is recorded, and other detectives and sometimes will sit behind a two-way mirror and kind of give the interviewer, have an earpiece in there, and to give them questions to kind of move towards, to try to get them to tell. I mean, all they have to ask basically once they got into it is, were they basically asked them, did you play with your brothers at the house? Where did they sleep? If they say they didn't sleep with us, where did they sleep? They wasn't there, or they may be in the house in the other house, or they went, maybe their parents told them, told them basically that they got adopted by somebody else, Has a lady from California said, Jamie, she adopted a girl and said she gets a certain name, but a certain amount each month. And, that may be, I hope that is not why they adopted kids, to get money. Yes. I hope that is not it. We got so much love from our kids, that's the thing. Would the cops ask the other children the questions that young? It wouldn't be the cops. It would be Katie. It would be it would be somebody, probably a child psychologist. There may be a female police officer in there with her, but probably not. Probably a child psychologist would be the ones that did the questioning, or somebody trained in that. And because the police sometimes, and I'll be honest with you, even though I love kids, I'm not the guy to be talking to young kids about these things, because
you're scary.
It's not my thing, I excel at in police work. I excelled at other things. I love search warrants. I love stakeouts, believe it or not. I love takedowns. I love that kind of thing. I wasn't, the interview stage was not even my strong point, although I had confessions and I did a lot of interviews, but I like being out there in the action of it. And it's just what I love to do. You're scary. Yeah, I'm scary. Okay.
You are scary. You're a grouch.
I might be a grouch. So don't make me scary.
If we have grandchildren ever, they're going to call you Papa Grouch.
Yeah. Child psychiatrist, psychologist, play therapy, asking simple questions, trained in psychotherapy. And yes, I agree. These people take their time and they're really, really good. I've seen some amazing stuff come out. They record the interviews with them, so there's nobody says they're led in any type of way to say something.
Tony wants to know, do any of the neighbors have footage from weeks leading up to the night?
I don't know
In
what.
the town of California, there is no footage at all of the children.
Well, there is no.
At
You're
the
right.
house.
The neighbor did have footage of like when they loaded in the van to went somewhere to the mall or something. They hit and there's only 4 kids got in the van. So I don't know of any footage that says that anybody saw those kids living in the house. In my opinion, like I said, I don't think they ever got there. I think whatever happened to them happened in Bakersfield or on the way to California City. I just don't, and I hope, man, the longer they, the longer they're gone, the worst case situation. I mean, the worse it's going to be, I think. And I'm not sure if they're still receiving any funds from the state while the children are not there.
Has anybody searched the other house?
I think I read where Bakersfield police had done, they've looked in other locations, at the older houses. And I want to say there was 3 different locations in Bakersfield that they lived, if I read that right. And I'm wondering, why did they move to California City? It's like 60, 70 miles from Los Angeles or Bakersfield. Did he have a job out there? I don't know what he even did for a job. I don't know why they would move out there. Yeah, they've had a lot of the different residents have done looking for the children, and I haven't read anything other information about the stuff that was found in the area belonging to the children. I don't know, but it is Bakersfield. But I don't know of, and I just remember it because it was a song about Bakersfield's on the way I could remember it. But I think the police have searched that area down in there. But you got to remember, in one I read somebody, it was actually a federal agent, I think, was talking about this. He said there's all this desert between Los Angeles, Bakersfield, and where they live now. Did you see the footage of the neighbor at Bakersfield, neighbor at Casa Lona Apartments Complex? No, I did not. Is there a neighbor there that had footage? Or did it show all the children there, Dana? I did not see that. And if you could direct me to where I can see that, I would love to see it. Who might have had it? Who had it on their was it YouTube or the news that had it? Hey, probably dishonorable discharge. Yeah, I understand that Dusty here is going to be on a couple of minutes. We try to get everybody off in time to go see that. I do watch Dusty. I might not be on there right away, but I do at least watch. Sometimes I say something, most time I don't. But we're going to try to get you out of here in another 6 minutes. I just wanted somebody tell me where I can watch that that film, the Bakersfield film.
There was no footage in Bakersfield, just a neighbor interview with AV.
Okay. I'll go watch this stuff. I usually keep up with it, watching it. But just keep it in mind. We need to keep this case in mind. Also, we are keeping going, and I always like to put this up here. I've got about 5 minutes left before y'all going to jump over here to the Draper Brothers. But I do have a little, I always want to bring out this that Susan Morphew is still missing 8 months and a few days later. And we want to continue to bring this to light. And hopefully the new DA will put some pressure on law enforcement to to do something, you know, to get off the stick and do it. Okay, it is 55 minutes into this. I am going to play a thing that I put together for Dina. I kind of think it's a little slow, but she wanted me to put it together.
It's the puppies, and they're so funny.
Well, I had to
I'm
cut
sorry,
out a lot.
y'all may not like it, but I think the dogs are precious, so whatever.
We will see you. We will see you Friday. That is our last day at the store. We have sold our store, and we are getting paid for it on Friday. And we're exchanging keys and saying, "Hope you have a great time and make a lot of money." And
we're praying for them.
We're praying that they really make, and they're very successful at it. And we are going to be concentrating on selling our house next. And we have big things coming this year. And we are going to be sharing those big things later on, probably in February, so that you will have things to pray about too. And just keep us in your prayers that we don't come down with this COVID thing. And we're going to end it tonight with this video. And we hope to see you Friday. God bless y'all. And we love you. Good night.
Lay down. Maggie. Inside voice. Lay down. Maggie. You stop acting like that. You already had your food, Gracie. Keep eating. And Gracie, you're okay. Gracie, don't tease her. Eat. Gracie, eat. I see you over there. Yeah, you're wanting something. I know it. Down. Now you stay right there and you leave her alone. You've had your breakfast and Gracie's still eating. When she's finished, she'll walk away and you can have it. Okay, Gracie, keep eating. Gracie, eat. Gracie, you are being ugly to Maggie. What are we doing? She's teasing you, isn't she? Huh? You're watching, you know I'm videoing you and you don't want to act ugly, right? Because usually you go over there and you grab that bowl and turn it upside down or drag it over to you. Your eyebrows up. One side, look at you. You want that food so bad. It's not like you're hungry. Gracie, you're teasing her by not eating. What's wrong? What? Is she teasing you? Huh? Hey, is Gracie teasing you? You think she's teasing you? Do you think she's making fun of you? Oh, you want her food? Inside voice. Can you say please? Can you say please? Inside voice. Okay, you don't have to beg. Okay. Do you want the food? Huh? Do you want her food? Because she's not eating. Okay. Okay. Hey, inside voice. Hey, that's too loud. Inside voice. Come on. You can have it. Come on. You can have it. Come on. I'll get her. Come on. You can have it. Look at that. Look at that little witch. Hey, you sitting there looking at her. Watch Maggie. Maggie says, I'll eat it all now. She shouldn't tease you, should she, Maggie? If Gracie got back over to the bowl before Maggie was finished eating it, Maggie would have grabbed the bowl and pulled it away. Gracie's going to learn to eat her food, isn't she? Huh? Listen to her. You hear that? Maggie, look here. Okay, look. Okay, see it? See it. Now, are you happy now? Look, there's nothing else in the bowl. Maggie, look at me. Thank you for using your inside voice.